Hello, everybody. Mr. Laporte coming to you from my backyard. We're looking at Section 1, Chapter 8, Section 1 from your email that I sent you before we left. We're looking at the goals of the Constitution and the principles of the Constitution. And if you have your packet there, it is it's number 81 here, but it's just the next page after the vocabulary, which everybody should definitely have done now. But what are the goals of the Constitution? And we are familiar with that with the preamble, the opening statement of the Constitution. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. So those principles, goals, laid out to form a more perfect union, to make it better than it was under the Articles of Confederation, to establish justice, having laws, a court system, fairness to individuals regardless of status, domestic tranquility to make sure we have peace in our world here in the United States, to provide for the common defense, to keep our borders safe from foreign attack, um, to promote the general welfare and make sure everybody's healthy and safe and peaceful. And today in the coronavirus, what is happening today that would probably be the part of the Constitution that applies the most, the general welfare, health and human services, um, all the actions that are taking place in the government machineries that are working to try to control the pandemic and canceling the schools. These are all things to help with the general welfare of our country, and then to secure the blessings of liberty to everyone, not just this generation, but in the future. All right, and then what are the principles of the Constitution? One of those is popular sovereignty, which means uh, we are government of the people, for the people, by the people, and the people have the right to abolish if our government becomes too tyrannical or into a dictatorship. Then we have the right to abolish that government and make the changes necessary. And I have mentioned this in class before that we tend to do that through our elections, and the House of Representatives is one way to do that quickly. Every 2 years, we're changing that out. If people don't like what's going on, they usually get rid of the Republicans, get the Democrats, get rid of the Democrats, get the Republicans, get rid of Republicans, get rid of Democrats, on and off throughout history. Uh, the citizens are making quick changes when they feel a change needs to be made through the House of Representatives. And then the presidency every 4 years and the Senate every six. We aren't too revolutionary in our changes. We don't want to fall into what happened into the French Revolution, um, with the use of the guillotine, and like 40,000 people died during the French Revolution by losing their heads on the guillotine. We don't want that to happen, but still, with the House of Representatives, we can make quick changes. Next one is limited government, that the role of the government is expressed in the Constitution, and the government should maintain itself within the boundaries of the Constitution, and then the rest should be then controlled by the states and what they do, um, um, and let states control what is happening within their borders without uh, uh, interference with the national government. But at times, like now, sometimes we have need for the national government to kind of step in during emergencies. Separation of power, executive branch, legislative branch, judicial, and they can each have defined responsibilities in the Constitution to follow. You also have checks and balances that they then can do things to check the power of another branch to make sure they don't become too powerful or to take responsibilities of things that are not theirs that they should worry about. We do not want the president to be in charge of making judicial decisions. We don't want the legislative to be enacting executive powers, and vice versa all the way around. So it's kind of like the recycle triangle, the three branches. Federalism, we have the national government and then the state government, and it's a balance between letting states kind of be independent and run things their own, but also having general rules that have to be followed, like income tax. Uh, there are um, income tax and tariffs and national rules that have to be followed by all the states equally. Republicanism, that we are a nation that has laws and rules, follow the Constitution, follow the judicial system that we have, each state with their own rules, but also rules that govern everyone, like the rights to freedom of speech and some assembly, press, and petition. All those rights need to be given to all the people of the 50 states equally. And then individual rights like freedom of speech, but also things that are happening now. I was watching a press conference with the president, and one of the reporters asked the governor of Virginia and another governor were saying we're going to go to 70-day lockdown. We're canceling the school for the whole year in Virginia. And she asked, is this constitutional that a governor can tell everybody to stay home and for such a extended amount of time? And then Trump said that, you know what, that's a state issue. Don't want to get involved unless necessary. So currently he's saying let the states do what they need to. And then if someone has a question or disagrees with that, then they can sue the state of Virginia, take it to the Supreme Court, and then the Supreme Court would rule, and the executive branch wouldn't, or the legislative branch wouldn't even have to get involved. But that's federalism, rights of states versus the rights of the national government. And then could the president do a 70-day quarantine lockdown of the whole country? That would be a question for within the Constitution, and the Supreme Court would probably have to get involved. So basically what I said, I've written down here in my own packet. If you look at the chapter that's set in your email before we left, just go through, the preamble and just write down those basic goals that are in there. And then in the book there, what are the principles? So today's objective was to list the goals and then the principles of government. So I know you're familiar with this. You might need to get more familiar with the principles of popular sovereignty and limited government, separation of powers, checks and balances, federalism, republicanism, and individual rights. We currently have an election coming next week, and our family's kind of doing our part to kind of help out with that. My daughter Mary, she's over there. She's going to be volunteering to work the polls, keep the older people out of the public's being separated from the public so they don't get exposed to coronavirus. And Mary is younger and has a better immune system. So thank you, Mary, for helping out. So she'll be doing that next Tuesday, and part of our government is still running. Elections still need to be had. Jobs need to be filled, or if people think some groups are doing a bad job, we have school board election, we have city election, we have the state Supreme Court election, and citizens are going to make their decisions. Are people doing a good job? Or if a job is vacant, who is the best person for that job? And so our Republicanism, our electing of officials continues as we go through our current issue here in the United States of America. So be healthy, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Look in your chapter and try to get that sheet filled out. What are the goals and principles written in the Constitution? Fill that out, and then we'll have a discussion tomorrow about those items. So be safe, be healthy. Bye.